Welcome to the Better Together podcast, where we look for ways we can work together to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ. Today we have with us Derek Altom. He's the director of V3 with D6 Family Ministries. And on the other side of the camera today, we have with us Ryan Lewis. He is the director of the NAFWB convention, usually sits on the other side of the camera, tells us what to do, but today he is on this side. And I'm going to be honest, if you're listening to this, you're missing it, but I feel like I'm out of place, that I should have shaved my head for today, but I don't know.
I think viewership would really skyrocket if we shaved your head on camera. To match Ryan and I.
Who knows? Maybe next year for Kansas City.
If we have 5,000 people at convention, Dr. Moody has said.
It's going to have to be more like 6,000,
okay,
7,000, something like that. And it's going to have to be a big offering, but we'll talk about that later, okay?
That's fair. That's fair.
I've got clippers, man. I've got clippers. We can go.
I bet you do. So, hey, I don't have a hotel. The convention's a couple of weeks away, and I don't have a hotel. Is there hope for me?
Motel6.com.
There is hope.
There's
the
always
convention
hope.
hotels are full. We're very thankful for the people that have booked those hotels, and they're going to be right there close by. We have also on our website posted a link to some other hotels downtown. Very nice hotels. You're going to pay a little bit more probably for the rate. But there are some hotel options in Tampa. The truth is Tampa is a place where you can drive in, where you can stay downtown, where you have a variety of options, even this late in the game. So, yes, we encourage you to take a look at our site and kind of find those other options. Because truth be told, we do not have any convention hotel rooms left.
Yeah, and Airbnb is a good option. I know many people are using that as well, or just staying a little bit further out. And hey, that's okay too. So this happens to us every year. I think we're picking up about 800 to 1,000 people a year, and there's just it can't really be helped, unfortunately. Yeah. But I do have a hotel. So
you do.
What is it if I have a hotel?
You know somebody. That's good. That's good.
Ryan did his job.
If you were able to get in the convention hotel, luckily as Dr. Moody was, you're in a great spot. Actually, for all of our convention hotels, you are able to get from your room to the convention center without crossing the street. We've actually stayed in each one of those hotels. And it's a great thing, especially for our convention for Vertical 3, when you've got kids involved and youth groups. There are ways from every hotel where you don't have to cross the street. And you're in a downtown area, but we think that's a pretty good luxury. It's going to be hot, whether you're walking 1 block or 10 block, it's going to be hot. But I think those 4 hotels are offering great rates. They all have a coffee shop in them at the bottom, Starbucks or otherwise. And so we've let them know that those places will be popular. But yeah, I think we have a great convention block, and if you're staying in one of those hotels, I think you're going to be very happy about what you're getting.
And if I could add, they're all so beautifully set right on the water there in Tampa. It's just a very, very beautiful city for a convention. I think our people are really going to enjoy it.
And Derek, a lot of times I'm wondering, where is Truth and Peace staying? Because I'd like to stay in that hotel. So where are Truth and Peace staying?
Yeah, Truth and Peace. A lot of our Vertical 3 staff, which includes the Yet team and Truth and Peace. They have a hotel called the Westin there in Tampa, just a short walk really across the bridge, right next to a Starbucks. Because those Truth and Peace kids, they're gonna get them coffee. They're gonna get that coffee, and so but it's still a very short walk really from their hotel, the convention center, in a really well lit area. Kind of a beautiful walk. We've made, the 3 of us in our pre-convention trips have made that walk a couple different times, and I think it's going to be a really beautiful place to have the convention. Really
and you kind of alluded to this, but you do not have to cross the street from the Westin. You
don't. It's a bridge walk on a sidewalk that leads right into a little open courtyard type of area that leads right up into the Tampa Convention Center. So I think it's going to be really good for our people.
So, I don't know when people are listening to this, but it's a good idea probably to pre-register, isn't it?
Pre-registration closes Friday, June 21st, And I can tell you from the convention standpoint, that's a good idea, because last year in Raleigh, we had 1,000 people in line on Sunday afternoon registering that hadn't pre-registered. So it's a good idea to pre-register. It's simple. It takes very little time. But in addition, if you're going to be part of the Vertical 3 conference, you're saving money pre-registering.
Yeah, if you register before that June cutoff date, you're going to save $10 if you're a K-5 through 12th grade student. On your Vertical 3 registration, which is $30 now, but will be $40 on site. And if you are a preschooler or an adult attending the Vertical 3 conference, you're just as flat $25. So it would, especially if you're registering a lot of people, whether it's a youth group or a larger family, those $10 worth of savings adds up real quick if you're registering beforehand. So, and it just expedites, as Ryan said, just expedites the process on site for you picking up your packet and things like that and not waiting in line.
One of the things we did run into last year, registering so many people so quickly, even people that had pre-registered, it helps, doesn't it, if you're all coming together as a church, that you've identified yourself that way.
Yeah. If you registered as a group, whether it's 5 people or 50 people, one person can walk up to pre-registration and we will have the packet ready that has all of your name tags, tickets, whatever you've ordered for that group. And so rather than your 50 people standing in line, youth group leader or pastor or whoever walks over to pre-registration and picks it up, that really cuts down on the congestion and registration, and you don't want to stand in those lines anyway.
Right.
And, hey, I'm just going to go in and watch a kid from my church do his Bible memo, Derek. Do I really have to register for Vertical 3?
Yeah, you do. It's just a good way for us to kind of track who's a part of the conference. And without getting too high up on a soapbox, we get questions about that often.
Yes.
Like, hey, why do I have to go watch my kid compete? And one really good analogy that we like to use at D6 Family that we talk about. My oldest son was a baseball player. He just graduated high school, so his playing career is kind of over. But he for in the summer of 2023 played some local travel ball. And there were fees associated with him playing travel ball. But then when my family went to the ballpark to watch those games, we still had to pay to get in to watch him play the game. And if it was multiple games, you could buy a pass for the whole weekend, or you're paying per game. And really coming to the convention and, quote, watching kids compete is really no different. And really, as we 3 know and others know, we wish it could be free for everybody and that the whole convention would be really low on expenses, but things are just cost money. So it's just a way to kind of help offset costs for us too.
It is. And if you're listening, you're thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot. But one thing to remember is it actually costs more than what those tickets. So D6 Family Ministries will actually have a deficit. Well, actually, they won't make money. They'll actually lose money on this. So
we're just
that's
so
what
committed
it's about.
to investing in the young people of our denomination that we're just willing to kind of take that. We want it to be as low of a deficit as possible. But,
yes.
But yeah, so that's kind of why we do that.
That's great. Now I'm at home. I'm getting ready to head to Tampa. What should I look for? What should I expect? What should I prepare for?
It's going to be hot.
Y'all keep saying that. Is
well,
it really
you have
hot?
hair, and so you don't understand the sweat running down your face.
You're able to hide it a little easier. We were there in February.
Yeah, we were.
And in May, and I think both times, even the 1 block walk from one of the hotels, we just said, man, people need to be ready that
That's right.
You're a little closer to the sun in Florida. You have a little bit of a bay breeze, but it's going to be hot, so they need to prepare for that. One thing we always tell the hotels that I can't explain is somehow all of the Free Will Baptists show up to check into the hotel at the same time. And check-in time's 4 o'clock.
Eastern,
Still leaves
4
you
o'clock
4 o'clock
Eastern.
Eastern. That's right. Leaves you plenty of time to get to the evening service or to get over. Registration is open for a little bit on Saturday, so if you're trying to get in and grab that stuff, that's totally fine. But be patient with these hotel people. They are going to have the front desk manned. They're going to have the valet stands manned. All of the parking is valet only, so be ready for that. But be patient with them. We have met with them, and they are ready for us. They're excited about us coming. We always hear from cities how gracious our people are and how often they want us to try and come back. But just be ready for those lines when you check in. Give yourself some extra time. Be prepared for that to take a little bit. and just come knowing I'm checking in, but I've left myself enough of a window. They're rushing and they're working as hard as they can, but there's going to be some extra time involved.
Another thing that we get asked a lot is, did you tell them that we're coming? Did you tell restaurants?
I
and
don't
businesses
think Ryan tells them.
that we're
I just
coming?
feel that way.
Yeah, and so we they know we're coming, and now we can't make businesses be open, longer than their normal hours or whatever. But we are working with the Tampa Convention Center. I believe Ryan can back me up on this, to maybe have some grab and go type options for those shorter lunch periods where you don't have as much time between competitions or business or seminars or whatever it is. And we try to make that. We try to tell the center, we want to make it as affordable as possible for our people, but they will pay a little bit for convenience, where they don't have to go into the hot Tampa sun. They can grab something real quick and stay cool indoors.
And we always communicate that challenge.
Yeah.
If you're watching competition, or if you are attending competition and then you're going to business, whatever you're attending, you have a short window. So we encourage the convention center to provide as much as they can. They actually have a couple of different concession stands in the center that's going to be open. They're going to probably add some buffets. Maybe in the past you've seen some of those, and it's not going to be your fast food prices, but at the same time, if I can eat and not leave the center, I'm going to pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
So the convenience, I think, is worth it. But I do think you'll see those options, because we have 4,000 plus people to try to feed, and they want to make that money. And so they're trying to work with us on providing some of that.
And we also, in our trips there, have eaten at some of the restaurants kind of close by. We had a pretty good seafood place the last time we were there, and I think I'm right about this. I know the Westin and the Marriott both have restaurants inside them, and the Embassy too. And so those are always options for our folks.
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
Well, you guys went straight to food, but I'm
on.
thinking, what about when getting in my hotel room? I want to take a couple of carts out, and I just want to pack my stuff in and take it up. Is that going to work for me at one of the convention hotels?
No, it's not, and I'm not carrying your luggage either.
That's bad, because that's the way I do.
I'll carry your luggage because
Okay,
I'm a servant.
that helps a lot.
I don't travel to downtown areas a whole lot, and I don't know how many of our people do, but I know it's a different setting where you're not pulling out your suitcase, walking to the elevator, and going to your room. They're going to have a valet meet you there. They're going to have bellmen, and basically we've been told at those hotels, the carts do not leave the bellman's side. And so we encourage you to be patient with that as well, but be generous. These guys and these ladies are out there trying to get your luggage out. They're trying to make sure that you have a good experience in getting you to your rooms. But it's just a different scenario, number one, when you have 4,000, 5,000 people trying to get into the hotel. But then two, it's just not a scenario that I'm used to all the time, staying in downtown. I'm used to pulling up to my family hotel, grabbing a suitcase, and we go to our room. It's going to be different in a downtown area, especially if you're bringing vans, or if you're bringing, a lot more people in that little turnaround for the valets, and getting your luggage and getting into the lobby. Again, we just encourage patience, and we know that our people are patient. It's just good to have that mindset before you even get there.
So I probably need some cash to do tips. Could I go to Starbucks and use cash, and all the rest of these places?
The majority of them that I have seen are cashless. In fact, a couple of the hotels are even cashless for your tips. And so you're able to use a QR code that's on your parking ticket, and you're able to tip that way. If you are a person who prefers cash, you can carry some of it. It's not going to do you a whole lot of good in places. It also tends to slow the process down a little bit whenever you can just pay with a card, tap, or whatever you're doing, and you're done. And so in the convention center, for their concessions, and especially in the hotels, in the lobby, and at the coffee shops, be ready to probably use your card.
So I'm in my hotel. I know where the food options are a little bit from what you all have shared. What can I expect Monday morning? Maybe competition's starting to happen. The seminars are starting to happen.
Yeah, one of the things I really love about the layout of the Tampa Convention Center is that things are not spread out all over the place. It's really kind of a 3-4 floors, depending on how you count, type of convention center, where all of the competition, every bit of it except for the music one, which is the bigger music category that meets where V3 Teen meets, is all on the lower floor, as well as that's like where the offices will be. That's where the seminar rooms are. That's where V3 Kids Worship is and V3 456 is. And so it's really all kind of in an L shape down on the bottom floor of the Tampa Convention Center. And so it's really going to be kind of neat. And that's where a lot of the food's going to be. There's coffee down there as well. And so I think it may be hot, but you're not hopefully going to have to walk a long way, especially in an air-conditioned building. It's going to be great. Mm-hmm. And then on the next level up is kind of where the adult worship service will be, where the resource center exhibit hall will be, and where V3 Teen is. And then from there you can get to V3 Preschool as well. And so I love how compact but spacious this convention center is, for sure.
There will be something for everyone, as we kind of tell the city that, and we obviously tell our attendees that. But even Saturday afternoon, registration will be open from 3 to 6 Eastern time. If you get to your hotel, you've checked in, come on over and get your registration badges, and that way Sunday you can show up for Sunday school at 9:30, all times Eastern, show up for Sunday school that morning. Sunday afternoon, we'll have the feet washing. Sunday night service, we'll observe communion as we have the last few years together. And then Monday is where it just really kicks off. You've got competition going on that morning. This year we have over 90 seminars going on, hosted by our departments and commissions. And there's even something for everyone in those, whether you work with children or whether you're a pastor or maybe you're just in competition and you just want to know more about the future of competition. There's something for everyone there. WNAC will have their celebration service on Tuesday, and we will kick off business Tuesday afternoon. So if you're coming as a delegate, there's time on Monday and Tuesday to get those seminars in. There's time to watch the majority of the competition, and then you can still come and be a part of our delegate body and part of our business there. But, man, from Monday morning till Wednesday night at 10 or 10:30, we're going, and we know you are too. We're just excited about it, and we hope that it brings you that time of fellowship and encouragement that we're hoping it will.
Ryan probably gets asked this too. I get always asked at the convention or at a D6 conference, usually once it gets kicked off, hey, how you doing? How are things going? I'm like, hey, we've shoved the rock down the hill and it's going. Like, we're not stopping it now. And so it's interesting how it just kind of, we just kind of settle in and it just kind of does what it does.
So maybe I've got a Spanish-speaking congregation. I mean, is there anything for me, and how do I navigate Tampa, the Tampa Convention Center?
So we have essentially added a track for our Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters of seminars, as well as a worship service on Monday afternoon, where we have a large room. We're anticipating a whole lot of Spanish speakers to come and be part of that. But from Monday morning until about Wednesday at noon, there are Spanish seminars going on in that room. There is a Spanish-speaking worship service on Monday afternoon going on. We have a Spanish choir, I believe, that's participating in our evening service Sunday night. And then each evening, these services will be translated into Spanish. Now, we are going to be putting some information out about that. It's a little different than it's been maybe 2-3 years ago, where you're actually downloading an app on your phone. We need you to bring your own headphones, and you're going to use an app on your phone. But Listen Everywhere is the name of the app, and that just affords us the opportunity to basically have as many people as need to be able to hear that Spanish stream and that translation of the service. That will also go out on the Spanish Facebook page.
Okay.
So we're making that available to them.
And it's pitiful, but there are some people that can't go to the convention at all. How is there a way I can participate?
Yeah, I'll start there. Unfortunately for us this year, due to cost-saving measures and the price for internet, we're not live streaming V3 Teen this year, but we will be video capturing those, editing those, and releasing them post-convention pretty quick after. So that's how you'll be able to join the convention after the convention, I guess, if you will, for V3
and could see it at any time you want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We get asked every year, could you put a camera out at registration because I want to see everybody's faces? Can you put a camera in the seminars? And that we can't do that. And obviously, even for security purposes, we can't stream the awards ceremony for the young people Wednesday night. But absolutely, we are planning to live stream all of the convention worship services. in English and Spanish, depending on your preference or what you need. And then we're also planning to live stream the business reports from the business floor. I know we get asked about that a lot, but basically any report that's given by a director or a commission chair or whatever they may be, any report that's given from the stage, we will be live streaming that. You're not able to vote or anything like that remotely, but you will be able to see what's going on among our 8 departments and our 4 commissions, and you'll be able to kind of hear what God is doing in our denomination. Even if, as you said, unfortunately you weren't able to attend, we want you to get the feel of, man, you are still part of us.
Yeah,
You're still able
right.
to experience worship with us and even keep up with the business.
But I want to see all the questions that get asked from the floor of the business meeting and all the discussion.
You know, I would encourage you to make the trek to Tampa. That
Okay.
would be,
Man.
honestly, I've been doing this. This is my 15th convention, and we started streaming in 2010. And we met with an attorney at that time and said, hey, we're going to stream things. And 2 things were the main things he told us. He said, first of all, you cannot stream young people when their faces and names are on the camera. That's just a liability issue we won't even get into. We love your kids and we love our kids and we're trying to protect them. And so that's one reason you don't see a lot of that streamed. And the other thing our attorney said is, you know, what your directors say from the stage, that's a controlled environment. That's kind of a scripted thing. They are giving a report. But what your delegates get up and say at the microphone, you really can't control that. And so just like for your church business meeting, you're not trying to air everything that your church family is talking about and discussing because those can be intense times. Those can be serious discussions. We're trying to do that with our denomination. And so when our delegates come, we want their input and we value their input, but we try to keep that a closed environment so that whatever is said from the microphone, you can know this is our family. This is where this is the only place that's going to be heard.
And we know the Media Commission has worked hard to do several interviews, so you'll see some of that in the pre-convention work. Also, though, if there are long discussions, they'll show some of those interviews as well, which are usually going to be tied to whatever that particular report is. So you'll get information you wouldn't have usually gotten. It's a way to learn about a lot of things happening there at the convention. It's very good. Well, you guys are excited. I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I was just sitting here thinking that it's such an honor to get to serve our people.
Yes.
And our denomination. And, you know, I love Free Will Baptist. And so I look forward to this event, this convention, this family reunion every year, seeing people just literally from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so it'll be here. I mean, it's just a month or so away. So I'm excited.
And it's easy from these seats that we sit in as the convention planners to be proud of Free Will Baptist because we can sit in front of hotels and convention center and say, man, this is a great week for our people. It's a family event. They love each other. They're here for a family reunion. And by the end of the week, those people are going, oh man, your people love each other. They love the Lord. They love us as a host city, and that's why we have things like Impact and other opportunities, because we get to sit at the end of convention and we've seen tears shed. We've seen people just say, man, we've watched your young people. We've watched your church. We've watched your denomination. You have made an impact on us. And so, man, if we can spend that week encouraging one another but also encouraging the people of Tampa, I think it's worth every drop of sweat from these bald heads. Absolutely.
From these bald heads.
That's right.
Yours will be bald next year.
Are y'all saying I don't sweat? Is that what I hear you saying?
I didn't say that.
You hide it with the jacket.
That could be. It could be.
It
could be. Well, one last thing before we kind of close down. I'm wondering, how are we going to pay for this convention? Does it cost a couple of $100,000, does it?
You know, since 2018, expenses have risen for everybody across the board. We're trying to keep doing the same things that we've been doing at convention, like streaming and those sorts of things. But in a matter of 6 years, it now costs us $100,000 more than it did 6 years ago, doing the very same things we did. And so at least for the convention, we're up over $500,000. And some of that is funded by income from church fees and some other things. But there's a reason that we take up offerings each night. And there's a reason you stand on the stage and say, if you're watching the stream or if you're here in person, man, it has cost a lot of money to do all those things.
Yeah.
And so we encourage people. We know that if you're coming to Tampa, you're dropping a whole lot of money on your hotel and your food and getting there and all that sort of thing. But we encourage you to maybe set a little bit aside just to help us out, because when you can see the speaker on the screen, when you can hear the speaker from a microphone, when you're experiencing those seminars, those cost us money. And even for the viewers on the stream, you said earlier, I can't go, but I want to be part of it. We are trying to provide that as much as we can to provide that convention experience, but that's not free either. And so we really appreciate any gifts that can go toward that so we can keep doing what we're doing.
That's great.
Yeah, I think for us, we've already touched on it earlier. That's why we charge a fee for the Vertical 3 conference. And unfortunately, we went up on fees a little bit for 2024, and we probably will have to go up a little bit more for 2025. But at the same time, we don't want to go so high that it prices people out from attending, because this is an important thing for our denomination to be a part of. And so we also, while we want to encourage people to give in the adult services, you can also reach out to us and make a gift specifically towards the Vertical 3 conference, and it'll kind of help offset those expenses. And really just provide a way for us to be very intentional about training the next generation of leaders who come to the Vertical 3 conference.
That's great. And so we want to encourage you, our listeners, to do that. Give if you can, give what you can. And remember, every little bit, it really does matter. It really does help, because it does build together. Hey, thank you all for joining us today.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
We're ready.
And thank you all for listening today. So take this podcast. We encourage you to share it with folks at your church so they're aware of what's happening, whether they're able to come or they participate at a distance. Do whatever you can to help us out, because remember, we truly are better together. Thank you.